I just wanted to give Lovey some feedback on Lab 10, and obviously, Lovey, if you have any questions, Alan is going to be an excellent resource for you. Also, I can just tell by kind of reviewing how Lab 9 worked. But we all process at different speeds, right? So, biggest thing, just kind of working top down through Lab 10 here, is that every single one of these verbs needs to become a processing step. So make sure that you take, prompt and include that in your processing steps. You've got the calculate. You might have compute. Sometimes that's in place of calculate and then display. So all 3 or 4 of those should actually be processing steps. Your solution algorithm looks great. I would just break it up so that I can tell the difference between what is going to be the main function and what is going to be in your drop calculator, if that's what you want to call it. So the first thing that you have here is you have your main, right? And so I'm going to just add the main and the end. And if you want to name this something different, that's completely up to you. Okay, and then what I want to actually do is pull out kind of your drop calculator and put that up here. So I'm just going to call that drop calculator. You're going to be passing in the height. You're going to initialize your gravity, calculate the time, and return that. Okay, then that function is going to end. Okay. And then in here, instead of having all of these steps, you're basically just going to be calling that function because all of that other stuff happens inside of there. Oh, and I guess you do have call it right here. So I can just take that out altogether, right? And then it's going to return the time. So maybe instead of drop message, we could say return display drop message with time, however you want to do that. But that's how that should look. And you've got all your test cases. One thing you want to do with your test cases is here, you want to actually paste the results that come out of your browser. So I'm going to come back to that and I'm going to jump down here to your code. So now that I know, hey, this is your main, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to function, right? I'm going to get those curly braces in there. Everything in here is going to be inside the main, so I'm going to move that over 2 spaces and put my closing curly brace on the end. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to pull this drop calculator outside of the main. So I'm just going to cut it. So I'm just doing Control X there. And whether you want to declare it before the main or after, that's kind of up to you. I'm just going to try and get my indentation here correct on that so everything is matching up. You're going to pass in your height, initialize the gravity, do your calculation, and then return that. So that looks good. So we come down here, initialize our height, prompt for our height, convert it to a number, and then you're calling this right inside your display results. That's completely okay. I typically don't do it that way, but that doesn't mean that's the way there's a right or wrong. So typically I would do it, and we want to put these over, sorry. I'm just like seeing things as I'm talking here. Drop calculator, pass in our input height. That returns, of course, then we do have to create a result. Call it time for now. So there is an extra couple lines of code, but whichever way makes most sense to you. Obviously then, once I've made all those changes, I want to save, and then I want to run my code and make sure that, hey, I didn't break anything. And shoot, I have something broken, but off the top of my head, I know that I forgot to call that initial main function right away. So I will add that, and hopefully now when I debug, it will prompt me, right? So I'm just going to use my number 87, because I know that 87 should return this. And then here, cut and paste this right out of the browser. So I'm going to copy that and put it into my clipboard. And then I can come back to my test case. And if I had one for 87, instead of saying correct here, you can paste exactly what you saw. That's your actual result. So the only other thing I might do, I might round this to like 3 decimal places or something. That's really easy to do by using any of our round or our 2 fixed methods. So make that change again, test it, see if it works, and then update your actual test cases. So if you have any questions, please let me know.